Except that everything I said, years later, turned out to be true, you see. For example, I had already been to the center of the Earth. And at that time, at the age I had no idea of the theories of the hollow Earth. I was very a kid, and I said, I went to the center of the Earth. And I saw giants, I saw dinosaurs, that's where the monster of the Loch Ness comes from, through a tunnel. I had drawn everything you see. And I said that what impressed me was that the grapes and the fruits were huge. As big as footballs. There were strawberries, as big as footballs. That was my word, and years later, my father found a book, called Hollow Earth. And this book disappeared from circulation, mysteriously, because it gave too many details. I was about 20 years old when I read it. That Admiral Byrd describes that the grapes and the fruits were abnormally big. As big as, wow. It's crazy. It means that I had seen right. It was very close to what they described. And again, I had no idea of anything. I had fun going everywhere. I went between the paws of the Sphinx. Because I had heard the pyramids hid secrets. So what did I do? I went out of my body. I arrived above Egypt. And I went inside and I discovered tunnels. I had made a drawing. They saw the Pyramid of Cheops. And they saw the Sphinx. And under the Sphinx, I had made a tunnel, like that, like a small labyrinth. I was only 8 years old. Recently, there was a Russian child who said, there was a secret room under the paws of the Sphinx. And he said, there was a door that entered through the ear of the Sphinx. He said the same thing I did 45 years later. And when I went to Bermuda on an astral travel, I went into the water. And there, I came across underwater bases with trident emblems. I saw aquatic beings. But I was 8 to 10 years old. And 40 years later, we went to the Bahamas, into the Bermuda Triangle. You and I met fishermen, and they told us there were aquatic beings with underwater bases in the Bahamas. So I was like 45 years ahead of everything I was saying. You know.
It's unusual. We don't see that every day. We don't meet children of this age who are interested in all these phenomena. Why you? You were interested very young in all these extraterrestrial and paranormal phenomena.
I think that all this started with my abduction. When I was 4 years old, on a beach in France, where I disappeared in front of my parents during 1 hour. Something happened that is undeniable. I have already spoken about it in my interviews. There are a lot of things that have been proved. There were witnesses who saw a bright disk above the beach where I was at this moment. But, already at my birth, there was something strange.
I was just going to ask you this question. Why a child is going to be abducted more than another child? I heard a theory according to which it would be a choice of soul that one would have made before coming to incarnate on Earth.
I think people who are abducted are often followed over several generations. As Steven Spielberg said in the TV series Taken. Because my grandfather, who is no more alive now, confided something to me before I left for Canada. I didn't dare to talk about it to my family. Because, apart from my father and my mother, the rest of my family was very Cartesian. And, before I left for Canada, my grandfather confided in me that when he was young, he was seriously ill one day. And he was treated with some kind of suction cups on his back. He told me that he was at the Brothers in a Catholic school. A convent for boys. He was suddenly seriously ill. He almost died, and we don't know what disease hit him. But still in the night, he told me this. So coming from him, it was, wow, That marked me strongly, because he didn't believe anything. He saw a disk of light on the ceiling turning very, very quickly. And he lost consciousness. And when he woke up, in the morning, he was cured. But it is still strange. 1. He woke up and he was already cured. 2. The disk of light gathering, a UFO on the ceiling. 3. Me, his only little son, abducted. And when I was born, there was a very strange storm that was just above the hospital. Besides, my mother had surnamed me the Captain Storm, because there was lightning above the room where she was giving birth. So already, there was something very strange about me. Then, my father almost died when he was young. He had a serious problem with his lungs, a tuberculosis. And he was hospitalized strangely, in the same hospital where I was hospitalized for my sunstroke, years later, in Briançon in a high French Alp.
Not long ago, while researching this hospital, you discovered something astonishing?
I found out that it was part of a military base in the mountains. And it reminded me when the doctors came into my room. There was one doctor, in white, and one in military clothes, who was in camo. And I remembered this when I saw the show that talked about the secret military bases in France, including the hospital in question. And it was the hospital where I was.